A day after allowing a married woman to terminate her 26-week pregnancy, the Supreme Court of India on October 11 put the decision on hold and referred the matter to a larger bench. The decision was put on hold on a recall petition filed by the Union of India based on a medical report by doctors of AIIMS, wherein apprehensions were raised that the fetus would have a viable chance of being born. Allowing the termination of 26-week pregnancy could have become a landmark case on abortion and women's reproductive autonomy in India. But the decision to put it on hold has re-sparked the pro-life versus pro-choice debate in India. The whole debate is not just a matter of individual choice, but a reflection of cultural, social, and legal intricacies. Join us as we delve into the sensitive and critical issue to better understand its context and implications. We will start by laying the groundwork and uncovering the fundamental principles of the pro-life and pro-choice perspectives, the bedrock upon which this debate is built. Then we will delve into the compelling reasons behind both pro-life and pro-choice beliefs, providing insight into the minds of those who advocate for each stance. Next, we'll survey the contemporary landscape of pro-life versus pro-choice debate and explore the legal and cultural intricacies that shape this discourse in various corners of the world. Then, zooming in on India, we'll explore the nation's evolving stance on abortion and analyze the related legal framework and the social dynamics in India. Finally, we'll end the segment by presenting strategies and solutions that can lead to a more inclusive and equitable future. First, let's try and understand the basic terms and historical context of the debate. Pro-life advocates argue for the protection of unborn life and in many cases the belief that life begins at conception. Pro-choice advocates, on the other hand, assert a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, including the right to choose abortion. In the 19th and early 20th century, as medical knowledge and technology advanced, discussions about abortion became more medically and legally focused. Meanwhile, abortion laws in many Western countries became more restrictive in the early 20th century, leading to underground and unsafe abortion practices. During the 1960s and 1970s, with the introduction of effective and safer methods of abortion, the pro-choice movement gained momentum in the United States and other parts of the world. An important turning point in this debate came from the US in 1973 in the form of the landmark Supreme Court decision in the Roe vs. Wade case. In this case, the US Supreme Court established the right to choose abortion as a woman's constitutional right. The pro-life movement, which opposes abortion and is often associated with religious and moral arguments, also gained momentum during the late 20th century and continues to be a prominent voice in the debate. It has now become a global issue with varying legal and cultural contexts in different countries. The debate continues to evolve with ongoing legal and political battles, as well as discussions about women's reproductive rights, ethics, and the sanctity of life. Having examined the historical context, let's have a look at the arguments of these two contrasting stances. Pro-life advocates firmly assert that the right to life is the most fundamental human right. They contend that life begins at conception, and to terminate a pregnancy is to deprive an innocent human being of the chance to live, experience, and contribute to the world. One of the key pro-life arguments revolves around the remarkable development of a fetus. They highlight that in the earliest weeks of pregnancy, the embryo undergoes incredible changes, and pro-life supporters believe this underscores the value of even the tiniest life. In a world of advancing medical technology, pro-life supporters point to the increasing viability of premature infants, emphasizing that we have the capacity to protect and preserve the lives of even very early stage fetuses. Some pro-life arguments underscore the potential psychological and emotional consequences that a woman may face post-abortion. They believe that such consequences, including regret and guilt, highlight the gravity of the decision. Pro-life advocates also often emphasize the potential brutality of abortion procedures from the perspective of the developing fetus. The procedure may involve injecting toxins and other surgical techniques, particularly in cases of abortions carried out in the second trimester and afterward. It raises ethical questions about the inhumane treatment of the unborn. Pro-life supporters maintain that parenthood, while a significant responsibility, offers opportunities for growth, love, and connection. They argue that the challenges are outweighed by the value of nurturing and protecting life. Pro-life proponents emphasize the importance of exploring alternatives to abortion, such as adoption. They believe that choosing life for the unborn child while respecting a woman's decision not to raise the child herself is a win-win solution. Further, for pro-life advocates, the debate transcends legally and delves into the moral and ethical fabric of society. They argue that abortion violates the principle of compassion, respect for life, and the sanctity of human existence. Further, it also violates Kantian deontological ethics and treats human life as a means rather than an end in itself. Now let's explore the compelling arguments of pro-choice advocates who believe that access to safe and legal abortion is an essential component of women's rights and healthcare. At the heart of the pro-choice stance is the belief in a woman's right to control her own body and reproductive choices. Pro-choice advocates assert that women should have the autonomy to make decisions about their pregnancies, including the option to choose abortion. Pro-choice arguments underscore the importance of ensuring the health and safety of women. They argue that restricting access to safe and legal abortion can lead to an increase in unsafe clandestine procedures, posing significant risk to women's lives. Pro-choice proponents acknowledge that each woman's circumstances are unique. They argue that personal circumstances, including health, financial stability, or emotional readiness, should be considered in reproductive decisions. There can be no one-size-fits-all approach regarding this. The pro-choice movement positions itself as a champion of gender equality. They argue that women's rights, including the right to make decisions about their reproductive health, are a fundamental component of achieving gender equity. They stress on the importance of challenging traditional norms and societal pressures that may coerce women into making decisions that do not align with their personal desires. They believe in empowering women to make choices free from undue external influence. Privacy and personal freedom are cornerstone of the pro-choice argument. They contend that the government should not interfere in the private medical decisions made by women and their healthcare providers. Pro-choice advocates also recognize the ethical questions surrounding abortion, but emphasize the importance of personal choice in these situations. They argue that respecting individual decisions and moral autonomy is crucial in navigating these complexities. Moving on, let's take a look at the global landscape of the pro-life versus pro-choice debate and how legal frameworks and public opinions on abortion differ from one region to another. Globally, there is an overwhelming trend towards the liberalization of abortion laws. Over the past 30 years, more than 60 countries have liberalized their abortion laws, including countries like Ireland, Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, and Nepal. As of 2023, abortion is authorized on request in 75 countries and in 13 countries for broad socio-economic reasons. Further, in 49 countries, abortion is allowed for health reasons, in 41 countries to save the mother's life, and is strictly prohibited in 24 countries. In this regard, a study by the Lancet shows an interesting trend in abortion rates across the globe. Between 1990 to 1994 and 2015 to 2019, the average abortion rate in countries with generally legal abortion, excluding China and India, declined by 43%. By contrast, in countries with severe restrictions on abortion, the average abortion rate increased by around 12%. However, 4 countries, the United States, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Poland, have rolled back the legality of abortion in recent years. The Supreme Court of the US in 2022 overturned the 1973 judgment which guaranteed a constitutional right to abortion. As we explore the current status of this ongoing dialogue, let's take a look at the legal framework of the pro-life versus pro-choice debate in India. In India, under the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act of 1971, abortion is a qualified right. An abortion can't be performed based solely on a woman's request, and it can only be performed by a registered medical practitioner. Further, the 2021 amendment to the MTP Act enhanced the upper gestation limit from 20 to 24 weeks for special categories of women, including survivors of rape, victims of incest, and other vulnerable women like differently abled women and minors. Opinion of only one medical practitioner is required up to 20 weeks of gestation and of 2 practitioners for termination of pregnancy of 20 to 24 weeks of gestation. However, the upper gestation limit can be relaxed in cases of substantial fetal abnormalities diagnosed by a medical board, which shall consist of a gynecologist, pediatrician, among others. It also provides for provisions to protect the confidentiality of women who undertake termination of pregnancy. Further, the governments and judiciary in India adopted a careful, compassionate, and nuanced considerations respecting the autonomy of women while acknowledging the welfare of the unborn child within the broad legislative framework. For instance, the Additional Solicitor General in a recent case repeatedly suggested to the court if a woman carries on with her pregnancy, the baby born to her would be taken care by the government and would be put up for adoption through Central Adoption Resource Authority. Supreme Court in 2022, in a landmark judgment, extended the right to safe and legal abortion up to 24 weeks to unmarried and single women. It also ruled that the meaning of rape must be held to include marital rape for the purpose of the MTP Act and related rules. Further, the Supreme Court also noted that registered medical practitioners should refrain from imposing extra legal conditions on women seeking to terminate their pregnancy. Despite enabling legal provisions, the stigma associated with abortion and the lack of adequate infrastructure and services can be a significant barrier to women's access to safe abortion options in India. In a nation with a rich tapestry of cultural, social, and legal influences, finding common ground and effective solutions to navigate this sensitive issue is of paramount importance. So let's discuss some potential paths forward that can promote reproductive rights, women's health, and respectful dialogue. Comprehensive and age-appropriate sex education can be a vital component to foster a more informed and empathetic society. By educating children and adolescents about relationships, fertility awareness, and reproductive health, we can empower people with the knowledge to make informed decisions regarding their reproductive health. Expanding and improving reproductive healthcare services is another critical step. This should involve offering a broader range of family planning options and enhancing the quality of services, including midwifery initiatives. Ensuring that every child is wanted, every birth is safe, and every girl and woman is treated with dignity should be a shared goal. Further, Streamlining the adoption process and reducing the stigma associated with adoption is very essential. This can provide a better alternative for parents to avoid the choice of abortion on the grounds of financial hardships or related reasons. By creating a supportive and welcoming environment for adoptive parents, the well-being of both mothers as well as children can be ensured. Further, promoting workplace equality should be a key element of the journey forward. Initiatives such as equal pay for equal work, regardless of gender, paid parental leave, and subsidized childcare can help reduce cases of abortion and ensure that women are not forced into difficult choices. Building adequate gap management structures and supportive policies is integral to accommodate maternity breaks. In this regard, a real-world example of Zomato, which offers 26 weeks of parental leave and maternity insurance, illustrates the practical application of workplace equality. Finally, the legal reforms must reflect our evolving society. It is imperative to include the LGBTQIA+ community within the ambit of Indian abortion and adoption laws and healthcare infrastructure. This inclusion will improve their access to sexual and reproductive health services, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation, has equal rights and healthcare access. By embracing these strategies, we can work towards a more equitable and inclusive society where reproductive rights are respected, women's health is protected, and every individual has the opportunity to make informed and empowered choices.